Hey, interpersonal communication class. Hi. We just started chapter 8. We just started chapter 8 yesterday. And I am nothing if not excited to bring you the continuation of chapter 8. Today we're going to talk about Johari and the Johari Window. Okay? All right, so hold on for that ride. What a ride it will be. Just understand, when I drop in the Johari Window to talk to you, I expect that you take good notes because this is kind of complicated. So please, and I'll come back to that here in a minute, but please grab your notebook, grab a pencil, okay? Stop watching in double speed here. Just slow her down and think through this. All right, get yourself a bigger brain. Like I've been saying, I know forever. All right. So now listen very carefully. Yesterday, we were talking about self-disclosure. We're talking about self-disclosure and how Tony owes it to Tina to keep self-disclosing, to open up, to show her things inside that inner sanctum of Toniness. Okay, he really does owe it to the relationship. All right, so self-disclosure, meaning he discloses things about himself, I know, to Tina, is paramount inside that relationship. And as we're going to see in chapter 10, Tina has to play that game too. What's inside that inner sanctum, inside that brick wall, she's got to punch a hole in that and let Tony look around. He's got to know her at that level of emotion, that level of belief, that level of feeling and value. And he's got to know her at all of her life experiences. We added those E's in there in yesterday's lecture. And now he's got to show her. He's got to disclose that information. And knowing how important this disclosure is in relationships drove Dr. Johari to develop this map, if you will, of where people are inside their relationships, given the Johari window and the 4 quadrants of Johari. What? Yeah, okay, listen. Let's just do this. Let's drop in that Johari window, all right? Let's drop it in, and I want you to look at a couple of things. I want you to look at the lettering, because the test questions will ask things like, in the E quadrant or in the F quadrant. All right, so first and foremost, look at the lettering, okay? The A, where it says known to self. The B, where it says not known to self. The H, the unknown or mystery quadrant with that question mark. You know, I bastardized Johari just a little bit. Oh, no surprise there. But I've even dashed some lines in Johari like I did in Maslow, okay, like I am wont to do. But I think he'd be okay with it. But know this. The Johari quadrants, the 4 quadrants, the E, F, G, and H quadrant, will determine where we are inside our relationships as far as juxtaposing those sizes in those quadrants are concerned. I'm going to show you some examples. But for today, I'm going to show you a whiteboard drawing that has got equal size quadrants. Just know that the only time that happens where those quadrants are equal is in lecture or in a textbook. All right, so here we go. Johari window and the quadrants associated with Johari is easily understood if you know that it's read down and across. What? Yeah, you got to read it down and across. For instance, we start with the A up there, known to self, and we read down, and then we pick up that C quadrant, known to others, coming across, and we get the open quadrant, okay? If when A comes down and C comes across, it lands in that open quadrant. Read it down and across. All right? So let's start there. Let's start there. In that E, or open quadrant, here's how I can describe that. That is what Tony is open about to others. Look, he knows it about himself, and other people know it about him. Why? Well, there are some things you can't hide. There are some things you can't hide. You're constantly open about some things. You can't hide the color of your hair. So you know the color of your hair, and other people know the color of your hair too. You're open about the color of your hair, but you're also open about some of those things that, oh, excuse me for a second. Yummy, water. You're also open about some things that you just don't mind telling people. You know, when Tony walks in the room for the very first time, when we're back in the brick and mortar called Lakeville North High School, he's got his football jersey on. You know, his name's on the back. When somebody says, hey, you play football? He goes, yeah, I'm a running back. All right, so he's opening up and telling people, you know, those things about himself. That's what we do. That's what we do when we first meet people. We're at a party with strangers, and somebody comes over and goes, hey, who are you? And he goes, I'm Tony. Where are you from? Lakeville. I go to school at Lakeville North, the best of the two Lakeville high schools. And Tony readily admits that. And he says, yeah, where are you from? And they talk for a little while, right? You open up these bits of information. Now, as we're going to see in chapter 9, nobody does this self-disclosing at that party. When you very first meet somebody, nobody is just going to spew all of their innermost feelings, values, beliefs, and secrets. Nope. That takes time, and it's at great risk. All right. In the open quadrant of Johari, the E quadrant, if you will, from that chart, these are things that Tony knows about himself, and he has shown other people so they know it too. And let's take Tina. Tony knows it. Tina knows it about Tony. You know, he's told her that he plays football. He told her, you know, that he's a running back. She knows it. He knows it. All of those things about football exist in that open quadrant of Johari inside the relationship of Tony and Tina. All right, that one's super easy to understand. She knows his name. She knows he's in 11th grade. She knows he moved here from Brooklyn, New York. Yeah, Brooklyn. Brooklyn. I just made that up. Hey, she knows. He has shown her, so he knows it and she knows it. Good. Let's move on. That one's a cakewalk. What's in the F quadrant? The F quadrant. Well, we'll read it down and across. First of all, know the name of the F quadrant. This is the blind quadrant. The blind quadrant. All right. And pretty easy to figure out why. Reading down and across. Okay. This is the stuff that Tony doesn't know about himself, but Tina knows it about Tony. What? Yeah, Tony doesn't know it about himself, but Tina knows it about Tony. All right. So go with me on this. I got confused too until a college professor just said, okay, let's nickname this. Let's nickname that blind quadrant the bad breath quadrant. Okay? It's like, oh, she said, yeah. She goes, Tony doesn't know he's got bad breath, or he'd do something about it. Tina certainly knows. Okay? Tony doesn't know that every time he gets done with football practice, the dude needs a shower. He's got BO, but he doesn't know that about himself. Tony doesn't know that in the middle of the night he snores. You know? Tony doesn't know that. And when people start pointing it out, he goes, no, I don't snore. Okay? All right. The blind quadrant, the things that Tony doesn't know about himself, but other people do. The bad breath quadrant, the body odor quadrant, the dude, you snore, keeping me up at night. All right. Down and across, the hidden or that secret quadrant, the hidden or that secret quadrant. Take a look at it again. Okay, there it is, the G quadrant. G, the hidden or secret quadrant. This is what Tony knows about himself. It's known to self. Read it down and across. But other people don't know it about Tony. Other people don't know it about Tony. Oh, man, oh, woman, when Tony and Tina first meet, this thing is ginormous. This quadrant is ginormous. The G quadrant, hidden or secret. And slowly, over time, Tony starts to self-disclose. She knows he's an 11th grader at Lakeville North. They sit in the same math class. She knows his name is Tony. She knows he is a running back on the football team. He told her that at the first meeting. That is safe stuff. And we're going to see that play out in chapter 9. That stage, that beginning stage. Hey, hi, my name's Tony. What's yours? We shared the safe stuff. Because self-disclosure is a risky business. It's a risky business. All right, we'll come back to that. But right now, let's talk about that hidden or secret quadrant. Read it down and across. This is stuff that Tony knows, but Tina doesn't know it yet. He hasn't shared it or disclosed it yet to Tina. And sooner or later, as the relationship progresses, he's going to. He better, as we'll see in chapter 9, you cannot hold back things from your best friends, from your soulmates, from that life partner. You can't hide it, okay? You can't store it in this hidden or secret quadrant. So sooner or later, Tony is going to talk to Tina. He's going to disclose, okay? For instance, he's going to say this, he's going to say this, he's going to say this. Yeah, coming to the game tonight? Oh, Tina says I wouldn't miss a football game. He goes, yeah, Tina, there's something I have to tell you. But you can't tell any of the other guys. And do not tell any of your friends. Okay, Tina, listen. You know, I'm only playing football because my dad wants me to play football. He was a big football star back in Brooklyn, New York, you know. I'm only playing football because my dad wants. I don't even know if I like the game. Okay? But, you know, they're great friends by now. And he has to tell her, okay? And besides that, they'll have that in common. They'll have that. And man, in chapter 9 and 10, we'll see how important that is. Okay? Trust. So Tony goes out on a limb, but he was storing that football scenario in his hidden or secret quadrant. And with his friends, even his coaches and dad, he's not gonna expose that information. He's not going to self-disclose that. But with Tina, paramount, important. He owes it to the relationship. All right, let's keep cruising, because you know we want about a 20-minute thing here. All right, we've talked about the open and the blind quadrant. Remember the nickname for blind, bad breath. You'll understand it. We've talked about the hidden or secret quadrant, where Tony. Okay, think about this. How many of those life experiences has he yet to tell Tina about? But he will, over time and at risk. You know, he's gonna self-disclose. Now there might be that one thing that he never tells Tina. There may be one or three things that Tony is going to take to his grave. Okay, but even those things may come out if that relationship is rock solid. If that relationship is rock solid, Tony may trust her enough to tell her about that experience, that to tell her about that experience, you know. He may self-disclose that, as we're going to see in chapters 9 and in chapter 10. It will benefit the relationship. Okay, remember what self-disclosure is all about. It's about them falling in love and becoming soulmates and life partners with you for the real you and not the mask that you wear. Not the mask that you wear. So you owe it to those partners to show them and tell them. And Johari himself would say that the key to this happy relationship scenario is to shrink that hidden secret quadrant down. Remember, the only reason that it is so neat today, where those quadrants are equal size, is for lecture. It is never this neat. We'll see that tomorrow when I mess it up a little bit. All right, listen. Tony's got a ton of stuff inside that brick wall. He is slowly disclosing it to Tina, which means that he is moving now. He's moving things from that hidden or secret quadrant into the open quadrant with Tina, so that he knows it and now she knows it. He's playing football for his dad. Okay, all right. The last quadrant, take a look at the H quadrant. It's a favorite of mine. It really is, for so many reasons. Okay? Reason number one, it's obsequious, it's slippery, it's big, it's impossible to put your fingers on this one. All right? I love thinking about stuff like that. All right? Every one of us has this unknown or mystery quadrant, the big question mark. Now look, I've dashed the lines around that quadrant, and here's why. It's quasi-infinite. It's quasi-infinite. There are a bazillion things in there, and read it down and across. Read it down and across. Tony doesn't know it about Tony, and Tina doesn't know it about Tony. What? Yep. Tony doesn't know it about himself. Now, if Tina knew it, it would be in the blind quadrant, but Tina doesn't know it, so it's in this great mystery, this great unknown quadrant. Okay, here's an example. Okay? Let's take Stephen King. Stephen King, who I think will become America's greatest author. Unfortunately, is going to have to maybe be after he dies, but I think he will usurp Mark Twain, Samuel Clemens. I think so. And honestly, quite frankly, man, oh woman, a lot of people love Stephen King. But when Stephen King was 16, when Stephen King was sitting in high school, okay, he did not know about himself that he would become America's greatest author. He didn't. And here's a kicker. None of his English teachers knew that either. Nobody knew that about him. Okay? Here's some other examples. You don't know the moment of your death, and nobody knows that. Okay? That'd be a kind of a freaky deal if someone could predict that or knew that, but nobody does. Okay? You don't know if you're going to, you don't know if you're going to have your own kids someday. You don't know that. Okay? All right. How about this one? If somebody had told me when I was your age, if somebody had told me, Joswiak, you're going to grow up to be a high school teacher and spend your entire life in high school, I would have told them that they were insane. I didn't know that, and nobody knew that about me, right? It was unknown. What am I going to do with my life? Okay. I still asked that question yesterday. Okay, listen. Hi, listen. The great unknown. All right, let's go back. I'm going to drop this in one last time so that if you didn't write down the letters, write them down. Okay, look, read down and across. A, known to self, and C, known to others, end up in the E quadrant, the open quadrant. Reading down and across. B, not known to self, and C, known to others, ends up in the F quadrant, the blind quadrant, or the bad breath quadrant. If Tony A knows it about himself, but he is D, not telling anyone about it, then it ends up in the G, the hidden or secret quadrant. All right, if nobody knows it, Tony doesn't know it, Tina doesn't know it, his teachers don't know it, then it ends up in the H quadrant, the unknown, or the great mystery quadrant. Now we're going to see tomorrow how important this is. We're going to see how it can actually serve as a chart or a map of where the relationships stand at any given time. And we're going to see how it correlates to the stages of the relationships in chapter 9. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. There. The Johari Window in the neat or lecture or textbook form. Good? Are we good? All right, campers. I love each and every one of you. But I'm gonna tell you like I'm looking at you. We still have a lot to learn together. So keep your stick on the ice and stay motivated. All right. I'm gonna find the button that shuts me off. I have no idea